Today, we're going to take a look at what it takes to start a rental business on Airbnb in 2023. So I have a few tips to go through when you want to set up your new Airbnb rental business. So the first tip is you're going to choose your rental length. So there are a variety of ways you could set this up, but the most common is short-term rental. So in most cities and counties, that's under 30 days. Midterm rental, which is usually 30 plus days, maybe 30 to 90, maybe even up to 6 months. And long-term rental, which is usually a 12 plus month lease, 2 years, so on. So tip number 2, you're going to pick your market. So what are you looking for? Are you looking for places that are near national parks? Are they near beach towns? Are you looking for something in a mountain town? Are you looking for something that's near hospitals? So this pairs really well with your rental length. So short-term rentals tend to go really well with national parks, beach towns, mountain towns, things like that. Midterm rentals tend to pair really well with potentially cities or near hospitals or other things where you have a lot of professional relocation or temporary corporate housing. And then long-term rentals could be a variety of markets, but just kind of depending on what the buy-in expense is and the potential rental rates, that's something to look at. So short-term rentals potentially make the most amount of money. Mid-term rentals kind of fall in between. The long-term rentals are the least amount of income month to month. The tip number 3 is you're going to take a look and figure out what is a good deal for you. So a good deal for you may not be a good deal for me, may not be a good deal for Joe down the street. So what are your financial goals? Where are you at in your financial career? What are you trying to do with this property? How long are you trying to hold it? Things like that. So the second part of this is once you figure out what is a good deal for you, then you're going to go through a bunch of different deals and you're going to analyze those deals. Tip number 4, you're going to figure out the total amount of investment needed. So this depends on what kind of loan you're looking at. Are you trying to set it up through an LLC or as a second home? The next thing is property renovations. Is it going to be simple like putting in floor, or is it going to be a huge renovation where you're going to have to blow out a wall and add a bath or another bedroom or something substantial? Or is the foundation sinking? If it is, you probably should run. But, what kind of renovations do you need to get this property up and going? Part of that is also looking at your downtime. So if you're renovating a property, are you going to be out 3 months? Are you going to be out 6 months? Are you going to be out a year? So the longer it takes to get the property set up, the slower your return on investment will be, obviously, and the more cash outlay you'll have at the beginning. So the next factor you want to take a look at is your furnishing costs. Is it a 1-bedroom or studio apartment? Is it a 3-bedroom house? Is it a 6-bedroom house? All these change the furnishing costs of the property. There are other things that you want to look for. Is it a 2 living room house? Is it a living room and a entertainment center, like a TV room, theater room? Like these things all change the cost it takes to furnish the property. So you want to look at all of that. A good standard is about $10 to $20 a square foot. Depending on the property size and how luxurious you're trying to make it, you'll kind of adjust that accordingly. So tip number 5. You want to figure out how to differentiate your rental. A-frame, treehouse, castle, yurt, dome. Maybe you could set it apart by using specific colors or interior design style, or looking at something more unique by doing some accent walls or contrasting the local environment. So if you're in a mountain town, maybe you go with a Spanish style interior or Bohemian style or something that just makes it quite a bit different, where people who are looking in that area stop on your listing and are like, wow, what is that? That's much different than everything else in this area. And then also specific amenities. Are you providing, over and on top of the common amenities like a bird watching kit, books and binoculars, a harvesting book and basket, a picnic setup, maybe a paddle board and life jacket. Just kind of depending on where it is and what your local environment is. What are you providing that puts it over the top, compared to everyone else? Some common amenities are like hot tubs, fire pits, things like that everyone, tries to build in to provide premium listings. Tip number 6, you're going to want to set up a PMS or property management software. These allow you to automate a lot of the processes when you list your properties. So that's a very common thing that you want to take a look at. Some companies that, are in this industry that have created property management softwares are companies like Guestly, Hostfully, and Hostaway are some common examples. Tip number 7, you want to set up rental automation. What I mean by this is if you get a message from a guest, what happens? Do you have to respond, or is there a system in place that will automatically respond? So creating automated messages, automated cleaning. So once someone checks out, what happens? Does the property management system automatically reach out to your cleaning team? You want all this to be as automated as possible, because if not, then you are the one sitting there doing all the work. If you build it into an automation process, then it happens for you. You let technology help you. Another part of automation is reviews. You could automate leaving reviews for people who booked your property and requesting reviews of people who have booked your property. Automate check-in and check-out. Tip number 8, provide high-quality experiences for your guests. So this goes without saying. You want it to be super guest-friendly, easy self-check-in process. They don't have a lot of requirements. They could just go show up to the property, use the code that they get, check in whenever they arrive. High-quality furniture is important. You don't want things breaking on your guests. You want them to hold up for a couple years. A well-stocked kitchen. I'm not talking about like milk, cheese, eggs, bread, but I'm talking about, nice appliances that all function properly, that work for your guests. Amenities in the kitchen, certain standards like frying pans, knives, utensils. You want your guests to show up there. If your guest has to take a frying pan to their rental, when they want to cook, that's a problem. So make sure everything's in order and it works. Another big thing is a comfortable mattress, high quality linens. So things that guests are going to sleep on and they're going to be like, wow, this was a really great experience. We'd like to come back or recommend it to other people. And tip number 9 is set aside part of the rental income for other expenses. So as you're renting your property, you're going to have maintenance expenses. If you have down period where you're not renting as much, you want to have those expenses covered, already ready to go in a bank account. So setting that up where it's set aside separately is really important for you.